Chapter 24, on kindness and charity. You must love and hate for the sake of God, for this is one of the firmest handholds of faith. The messenger of God, may blessings and peace be upon him, has said, "The best of deeds are love and hate for the sake of God the Exalted." When you love the servant who is obedient to God because of his obedience, and hate the one who is disobedient to God because of his disobedience, and not for any other reason, then you are one who truly loves and hates for the sake of God. If you find in yourself no love for the people of goodness because of their goodness, and no loathing for the people of evil because of their evil, then know that your faith is weak. Keep the company of the best of people, and avoid that of the worst. Sit with the virtuous, and avoid the unjust. The prophet has said, may blessings and peace be upon him, a man's religion is that of his companion, so let each of you consider who his companion is. And a good companion is better than solitude, and solitude is better than an evil companion. Know that associating with people of goodness and keeping their company implant the love of goodness in the heart and help to practice it, while associating with the people of evil and keeping their company implant the love of evil in the heart and the love of practicing it. The one who associates closely with a particular group of people inevitably ends up loving them, whether they are good or evil, and a man is with those he loves both in this world and in the hereafter. Be merciful to the servants of God and compassionate to his creatures, and be gentle and kind and of engaging manners, and easy to approach. Beware of being callous, coarse, obscene, or difficult to approach. The prophet has said, may blessings and peace be upon him, God is only merciful to those of his servants who are merciful. Those who show no mercy are shown no mercy. And a believer is affable and easy to approach. There is no good in anyone who is neither affable nor easy to approach. Teach the ignorant, guide those who stray, remind the distracted, and beware of neglecting any of these things by saying, only those who possess knowledge and do practice it can teach and remind. I am not one of them, and so am not worthy to guide others, for such is the attribute of the great. This is nothing but a satanic deceit. For teaching and reminding are part of practicing what one knows, and great men only become great by the grace of God, and by their guiding God's servants to his path. If you are unworthy now, then the only way you can become worthy is to do good, and invite people to it. Evil lies only in making claims and leading others to other than the truth. Comfort the broken-hearted. Be gentle to the weak and the needy. Console the poor. Be lenient with the insolvent, and lend those who ask you. The reward for a loan exceeds that for charity 8 times. This is because a loan is taken only by the one who is in need of it. Console those who are stricken by adversity, for the prophet has said, may blessings and peace be upon him, the one who consoles a man stricken by adversity, that is, helps him endure patiently, has a reward similar to his. Beware of gloating, which is to rejoice at another Muslim's misfortune, for the prophet has said, may blessings and peace be upon him, do not show any gloating in regard to your brother, lest God release him and afflict you. Beware of openly reviling a Muslim for a sin he has fallen into, for the one who does so will be afflicted likewise before he dies. Relieve those in hardship, fulfill the needs of those in need, and keep the sinner's disgrace concealed. For the prophet, may blessings and peace be upon him, has said, God shall grant ease to him who eases the hardship of another, and shall conceal in this world and the hereafter the sins of him who conceals the disgrace of a believer, and he shall relieve from one of the hardships of the day of rising the one who relieves a Muslim from one of the hardships of this world. He shall fulfill the need of the man who fulfills his brother's need. He assists his servant for as long as he assists his brother. Remove all that may cause harm from the Muslim's road, for this is one of the branches of faith. It is related in tradition that I saw a man traveling about in the garden because of a branch of thorns which he had removed from the Muslim's road. Show compassion to the orphan, and stroke his head, for the prophet has said, may blessings and peace be upon him, when a man strokes an orphan's head, God records for each hair that his hand has touched 10 good deeds. Try to gladden the hearts of believers in every possible way, as long as these ways are not sinful. Intercede for anyone who requests it of you with those with whom you are influential, for God will ask his servants to account for his influence just as he will ask him to account for his money. But if a servant falls liable to canonical punishment, such as that pertaining to adultery or theft, then be aware of interceding on his behalf, for intercession in respect of canonical punishments is not permissible. If, following an act of intercession, you receive a gift for it, you should refuse it, for it is a form of usury. Always smile at believers, show them an engaging, friendly face, speak well to them, be gentle, and lower your wing to them. God the Exalted has said to his prophet, "And lower your wing to the believers." Chapter 15, verse 88. And the prophet has said, may blessings and peace be upon him, do not disdain any act of goodness, even should this be meeting your brother with a friendly face. And a kind word is a charity. It has been handed down that when two Muslims meet and shake hands, 100 mercies are divided between them, 99 of which are for the friendlier of the two. Beware of breaking off relations with the Muslim for the sake of yourself. If you need to leave him for a religious reason, then do so for no more than 3 days. For the Prophet has said, may blessings and peace be upon him, the one who deserts his brother for more than 3 days will be driven by God into the fire, unless God rescues him through his mercy. This relates to desertion for the purpose of discipline, but if it be done because a wrong is being committed or a right neglected, then there can be no restoration until he reverts to right conduct. Show delight and pleasure when something good befalls the Muslims, such as the arrival of rains, lowering of prices, or victory over aggressors or disbelievers. Be sad and aggrieved when hardship befalls them, such as epidemics, rising prices, and seditions. Entreat God to relieve them of such trials, yet you should accept his decree and ordinance. The messenger of God, may blessings and peace be upon him, has said, the one who is not interested in the affairs of the Muslims is not one of them, and the believers are, in their mutual affection and sympathy, as one body. When one of its organs falls ill, the rest of the body is mutually affected with fever and sleeplessness. When a Muslim does you a favor, you must accept it, and thank and reward him. If you cannot reward him, or you fear to offend him, then pray for him. For the Prophet, may blessings and peace be upon him, has said, were I to be offered as little as a foreleg or a trotter as a gift, I would accept, and were I to be invited to a foreleg or a trotter, I would go. And when someone does you a favor, reward him. If you are unable to, then pray for him until you feel that you have rewarded him. And the one who says to someone who has done him a favor, may God reward you with goodness, has given him an exceedingly good prayer. Never break a Muslim's heart by refusing what he offers you, when you know that anything that comes to you through him is in reality from God, and he is only his powerless and compelled means. Anyone who is given something he has neither asked nor longed for and refuses it, he has refused to take it from God. A great disadvantage attaches to refusal, namely, that the common folk are accustomed to respecting those who refuse their gifts, and it may be that some devout people are motivated in their refusal by the wish to display asceticism, so that they be thought highly of, which is why a certain authority used to accept and secretly dispose of such gifts charitably. But refusal may become either obligatory or recommended in some situations, as follows. Something may be given you which you either know or have seen evidence that is illicit, or a canonical charity may be given you on the assumption that you are deserving when you are not. The giver may be unjust, and persistently so, and you fear that if you accept his favor, your heart will lean toward him and away from what is right. You may know from the man's behavior that he means by his favors to lead you away from the way of God by means of causing you to assist him in committing an injustice or neglecting a right. Of this nature is anything taken by a judge, a governor, or any other man in authority from either one or both litigants in a case lodged before him. This is prohibited bribery. You must therefore refuse any gifts given under any of the above-mentioned circumstances, of which there are others which shall be mentioned in the appropriate place. Beware of praying against yourself, your children, or any other Muslim, even if they have wronged you. The one who prays against those who have wronged him shall have his prayer answered. Do not pray against yourselves, your children, or your wealth, for your prayer may coincide with one of the times in which prayers are answered. Beware of unjustly harming a Muslim or insulting him. The Prophet, may blessings and peace be upon him, has said, "Anyone who hurts a Muslim has hurt me, and the man who hurts me has hurt God." And to insult a Muslim is immorality, and to fight him is disbelief. Beware of cursing a Muslim, an animal, an inanimate thing, or any specific person, even if he is a disbeliever, unless you know for certain that he has died a disbeliever, as in the cases of Pharaoh and Abu Jahl, or unless you know that God's mercy will not, under any circumstance, reach him, as in the case of the devil. It has been said that the curse uttered by a person ascends toward heaven, but that the gates are locked against it. It then descends to earth, the gates of which are also locked against it, so that it then goes to the one who was cursed, and either finds him vulnerable to it, or else it recoils against its utterer. Effect reconciliation between the hearts of the believers, and cause them to love each other by bringing to light their virtues and concealing their vices. Restore good relations between them, for such a thing is more meritorious than supererogatory prayers and fasts, especially when effected between a father and his son, or a man and his relatives. God the Exalted has said, "The believers are but brothers. Make peace, therefore, between your two brothers." Chapter 49, verse 10. Beware of sowing discord through slander, backbiting, or anything else such as will result in antagonism and aversion, for this is considered an immense sin by God. Slander is to report the words of one person to another with the intention of creating discord between them. The Prophet has said, may blessings and peace be upon him, a slanderer cannot enter the garden, and the most abhorrent amongst you to God are those who damage relationships between brothers by slander, and create rifts between brethren. Backbiting is to say things about a person in his absence which he would have resented had he been present, with defamatory intent, whether this defamation be verbal, written, or indicated. The Prophet, may blessings and peace be upon him, has said, every part of a Muslim is sacrosanct with regard to other Muslims, his blood, his wealth, and his honor. And backbiting is worse than adultery. God revealed to Moses, may peace be upon him, the one who dies having repented of his backbiting will be the last to enter the garden, and the one who dies persisting in it will be the first to enter the fire. Beware of injustice, for it will be the darkness on the day of rising, especially injustice to others, which is never left alone by God. The Prophet, may blessings and peace be upon him, has said, the bankrupt in my nation is the one who comes on the day of rising with numerous good deeds, but who has struck someone, insulted someone, and taken the money of still another, for they will take from his good deeds one by one, until when his good deeds are exhausted, some of their evil deeds are taken and added to his, after which he is cast into the fire. Therefore, if you ever wrong anyone, hasten to emerge from the situation by submitting to punishment if it is a legal offense, asking to be absolved if it is a matter of honor, and returning what you have taken if it is a financial injustice. It is related in tradition that the one who has committed an injustice against his brother should ask him to absolve him of it before a day comes when there shall be neither dinar nor dirham, but only good and evil deeds. If you find yourself altogether unable to make reparations for some of your injustices, then seek refuge in God with sincerity, urgency, and an acknowledgement of your powerlessness. that he may get your adversary to accept you. Also pray in abundance and ask for forgiveness for those whom you have wronged. Defend the lives, honor, and wealth of Muslims as you defend your own, whether they be present or not. The one who supports a Muslim will be supported by God, and the one who deserts a Muslim will be deserted by him.